JLR investigates. I got some breaking news, everyone, in the Bryan Christopher Kohberger case. The judge has granted the defense's request for change of venue. But there is a catch, folks. Let's talk about it. The Bryan Kohberger defense has filed a motion for change of venue. They want the case to be transferred to Ada County, Boise, Idaho, big city, center part of the state. And then, there was hearing last week. They talked about it. They presented PowerPoint experts. Guess what? Sources have told me judge has granted the motion. But it's not necessarily saying, hey, we're going to send it to Ada County. What the judge did was he's punting it up to the Idaho Supreme Court. The Idaho Supreme Court's going to decide where the venue should be, not judge. And it's quite possible the Idaho Supreme Court might kick it back down to judge and say no. But it looks like it is going to be changed. Now, the question is, where will it be changed? And you haven't heard this anywhere. You know JLR gets the goods. You know JLR has sources. Lots of people in this case I communicate with a daily basis on the Bryan Kohberger case. But it has, the judge has now sent it to the Idaho Supreme Court. Where will the case go? That's interesting, folks. So we'll keep an eye out on that situation. In the meantime, folks, Bryan Kohberger's defense is on the attack. Have you seen how many motions they filed? It's a blitz of them. It's tons of them. They don't want the death penalty for Bryan Christopher Kohberger. They're trying to stop the death penalty. And they filed a barrage of all types of motions to strike the death penalty for Bryan Christopher Kohberger. I'll play a news clip right here. NBC Today, they share a little information about that. Check it out.
Lawyers for Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students, is making a new appeal this morning in an attempt to take the death penalty off the table. Let's dig into that a little more. We'll bring in Laura Jarrett, NBC's senior legal correspondent. All right, so what are some of the arguments they're putting on the table?
Yeah, this is really a blitz of multiple defense motions, throwing everything they can at this. It was a court-imposed deadline. That's why it's coming now. It's everything from routine things, saying they simply don't have enough time to prepare for trial, to really things maybe more of a creative stretch, saying it violates international treaties to give him the death penalty. It's an aggressive move, but it's a death penalty case, and so his public defender is taking it seriously. One thing I was surprised she did not hammer is just how rare it is to actually get capital punishment in that state. I went back and looked. It's only been used 3 times. The last was 2012. And so if they do it in this case, it would be something that's rare. And she did not mention that, at least not yet. And of course, we should mention, even if he's not eligible for the death penalty, it's not as if he walks free. He would just be eligible for life in prison, and it'll be up to the judge whether that happens.
Life without the opportunity of parole.
Yes.
So it's the judge who will determine these issues about the death penalty. The judge also has this venue decision, whether or not he should move the trial out of Moscow, perhaps to Boise, somewhere else in Idaho. And he's openly said he's really struggling with this decision.
He said it on the record it would be the hardest decision he has had to make in his career. Now, he heard arguments about that a week ago, so we expect a decision on that anytime now, guys.
All right, Laura.
Yep.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you.
Now, with those particular motions, I truly doubt that Judge, or even the Idaho Supreme Court is going to stop the death penalty in this case. Considering there's numerous people on death row already in Idaho. Chad Daybell is contestant number, is it 9 or 8? 8 or 9 on death row. If Chad Daybell gets the death penalty for what he did, why wouldn't Kohberger get it? And whatever arguments are in those 1,000 pages that the defense filed, pretty much you would say that the death penalty is null and voided and everyone else's death penalty case should be kicked out. And that's not going to happen, folks. So if there's other people on death row who did very egregious things, but if you think about it, if Bryan Kohberger gets convicted, I think his crime, his horrendous crime, supersedes any of the other people that are on death row in Idaho for sure. So if they're on death row, why wouldn't Kohberger be on death row if he's found guilty? But I wanted to share that information so it does not look like the case will be in Latah County. And, some of the victim families and the prosecutor, they don't want it moved. They wanted it there. My opinion, I want it moved. I would love for the trial to be moved to Boise, Idaho. Like I've said before, great hotels, great food, easy access airport right there, good live streaming, because we plan to be there during the trial when JLR investigates. Boots on the ground, outside live streaming. You know what I like about the Ada County Courthouse? Because I was doing Lori Vallow-Daybell's case, is there's only one way in and out. And every witness that testifies in this case, whether it's a Dylan Mortensen, Bethany, Funke, detectives, cast, whoever, FBI, whoever, they'll have to come in and out. And we're live streaming outside, so we're going to get to see, and possibly these people might give interviews outside, and then we just get to see the circus atmosphere outside of the Kohberger case. So yeah, send it to Ada County, in my opinion. Where do you think it should go? Or do you think the judge made the wrong call? Some people might say Judge is also weak. Weak because, instead of him making the decision and agreeing with the defense to have Ada County, or his own making decisions on where it should go, he just kicks the can down the road to the Supreme Court and lets them decide. Some people might think that's weak on Judge's part. Let me know what you think. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button covering the Bryan Kohberger case. When more information comes out about this case, you will hear it here on JLR Investigates. Boots on the ground. We will talk soon. Justice for the victims. Stay tuned.